Yo. Welcome back to Real Estate Journeys. This is your boy, Matthew Baltzell, a.k.a. Matty B. And today is, I'm going to just stop this. We're going to just redo this. Yo. What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Matty B, a.k.a. Matthew Baltzell. Welcome back to Real Estate Journeys, the exclusive podcast for real estate investors looking to scale to 100 units and be location independent. And today is Wake Up Wednesdays with your boy, Omar, calling Dallas, Texas. Tejas. Omar, what's cracking, my friend?
What's going on, baby?
Not much, man. Glad you're here. So for people that are listening to this, Wake Up Wednesdays, we basically address the questions in real estate that we hear kicking around the can in multifamily, and we try and address them and answer them for you. So today we have come up with the topic of, drumroll please, fucked up. 3 big ticket items to avoid. What are 3? It's like 3 big ticket items that can put you down and really bury your bank account as far as the multifamily industry is concerned. Omar, what do you think those would be?
Well, look, if you're talking as a passive investor, I think it's going to ruffle a lot of feathers. Straight up, this is just based on the deal flow I'm seeing in the past from other sponsors as well, primarily. I'm seeing in the past 2 months. Number one, if the OPEX ratio, and again, you got to realize this is just my opinion, okay? This is not the gospel because I don't want to ruffle feathers here. If the OPEX ratio dips into the 30s, I don't care if it's high 30s, I don't care if it's mid 30s, and
explain what you mean by the OPEX ratio.
I'm going to do that in a sec. So if the OPEX ratio dips into the 30s, 9 times out of 10, you're getting fucked, okay? Now, what does that mean? Now, the OPEX ratio basically says it's basically total operating expenses divided by total revenues. That's just a fancy way of saying that of the total revenues you generate, how much as a percentage is gone away in just basically servicing your property operating expenses, right? Now, typically what we see is, going in first year, you're going to be in the high 40s to mid, again, these are averages, right? High 40s to mid 50s max, typically, unless there's a special situation, right? Where you have, like, say, down units or something like that. And typically, if you're doing, again, these are typical things. If you're doing the value add programs and assuming this isn't like the deal of the century, you're going to kind of come up to like and if you're running it efficiently, mid 40s, low 40s by the time like
you're saying 40%.
40%, right? Yeah, mid by the time years 3 and 5 roll in. I'm now seeing guys because essentially the point is like the lower your operating expense ratio, the higher your NOI is going to look, right? Because that just means you projected more revenue, less money going away, so you have a higher NOI left. So the higher the NOI you have left, on paper at least, you can show fantastic returns, right? Yeah, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you see this from pretty much any sponsor, they better have a pretty good reason. And if they don't, I mean, I'm talking like a freaking good reason, okay? You're getting fucked. Straight up. Just avoid it. Run for the hills, number one. Number two, when sponsors aren't going to show you the financials clearly. So they're going to adjust and say, oh, the T12, I adjusted it for this thing and that thing and that thing and that thing, right? Anytime somebody's doing something like that, run for the hills.
How do you know whether it's clearly or not?
No, first of all, you ask them, hey, can you send me the financials?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So tell them to send you the financials that the broker sent initially. Right? Now, typically, a lot of times, not always. Again, you can look, if somebody's going to lie to your face, they're going to lie to your face. Okay? I'm not saying people do that, but I'm also saying people don't do that. Typically, look, you might get some financials in PDF format from the broker, which is a pain in the ass, by the way, because then I ask for Excel form. So PDF is kind of a dead giveaway that it's good because it's hard to manipulate a PDF, although you can. Typically, just ask that, hey, give me the link to where the broker had the OM, the financial, all of that, so I can download off the broker's site, right? You're just trying, again, this is just a due diligence processing, number two, sorry. So you're just trying to see there's no major adjustments. People aren't getting creative in the way they do their accounting, all of this stuff, okay? And number three, what you also got to realize is that, look, pretty much every sponsor on the planet right now is going to tell you, rents are below market, the sales comps, the sales price is below the average of the sales comps. So, oh my God, we've got the greatest deal on the planet. Okay, that's all a lie. Okay, again, 9 times out of 10, not always, 9 times out of 10, because we got to give people like some leeway here, right? That's all a lie. You're getting fucked. The reason why is typically, not always, those days are gone when your rent upside was $300. Right now, typically, because we're later and later on into the cycle, most of these deals have been picked over once or twice. $300 rent premium deals don't really exist anymore. Maybe it's once a year you see a deal like that, but there's a lot of problems there. I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying typically when the average mentorship student, jackass is telling you this stuff, they're lying to your face, because there's really only two things. Either they think you're really stupid, or they're really stupid for believing what the broker is telling them.
Mm-hmm.
So that. Also make sure you always ask for CoStar reports or Yardi reports, just to kind of, get your sort of little, just in a to get more data, but also a means to check basically what's going on. And see, the biggest thing you should also ask, the fourth thing, I know we were talking about three things. The fourth thing you should also ask the broker is, hey, how did you source this deal? And there's nothing wrong if it's on market. A lot of people say, I only look at off market deals. And I'm like, okay, best of luck finding this one true off market deal here. But how do you know about this deal? What steps did you take? How many times did you tour the property? When you were touring the property, walk me through, basically show me the pictures you took when you toured the property, right? Or what are your notes from the property? Can you please share them with me? I can assure you most people can't do that.
You're saying when you talk about sourcing the deal, with the broker, right?
No, for instance, let's assume you and I are looking at a property, right? Yep. So we actually have to physically go tour the property, yep. Right? Uh-huh. So when we go toward the property, we'll be taking some photographs or videos, yep. And have our notes, right? Mm-hmm. Because internally we have to share it. Even if I go and you don't go, I still have to internally share it with you.
Yeah.
Right. So ask them, because again, the point what you're trying to understand here isn't necessarily, it's not like a gotcha question. These things are supposed to be there to begin with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And lastly, if somebody asks to see the underwriting in Excel, and if somebody ever tells you that their model is proprietary, laugh at their face and tell them to fuck off.
Mm.
Okay, this is basic cash flow modeling 101. Now, if somebody doesn't want to share the entire model, what they can do is they can just copy paste values and send you the values version only of the pro forma, which is fine. That's okay. But they should be able to do that. Any jackass who tells you my model is proprietary, just laugh at their face.
Of all the things that we've actually covered on the show, we go in very depth, and we cover a lot of things as far as passively investing and really, helping you out as far as an investor make the most informed decision. And we always talk about teamwork, and we always talk about, doing your own diligence. But that simple fact that you just said right there, like asking them to share their Excel spreadsheet, and if they say it's like proprietary reasons that they can't share it with you, like to go fuck themselves. Like that seems.
Yeah, nobody's saying you give them the entire model, right?
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I know, but I'm saying when I hear that, it seems so simple, and it's like, yeah, like that seems like a good way to do due diligence of like asking somebody like, oh, can I see this, by the way? Just because, if you are investing $25,000, $50,000, $100,000+ you're going to want to take the measures and not have manipulated, spreadsheets and whatnot. So that's very, that's very a good point that you brought up, that I've never heard you mention that before. So just to recap, so what we have here is the operation expenditures dipping below the 30s. Obviously, that's going
to the 30s. Actually, anytime it does that, I don't know. The guy better have a freaking good reason. Otherwise,
yeah. So if it's dipping below the 30s, obviously that's going to increase your NOI, and it's going to make all the numbers.
No, into the 30s, not just below 30s. Into the 30s.
Okay. Sorry. Into the 30s. So into the 30s, that's obviously going to increase your NOI. It's going to inflate the numbers. So that would be a red flag for sure. Know that you're getting fucked anywhere into the 30s. Second one would be they're not willing to clearly share the financials there with you. Third one, comps, as far as promising up 300 rent upside. Clearly that obviously, okay, I obviously think that 300 is a high price. Is there a secondary number you'd say that
look, I don't. My point is, if somebody's promising you $150, right?
Yeah.
Right, I just pulled a number out of my head. Well, it begs the obvious question. Look, it might exist. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying from the deals that I'm seeing in the past 3 months, it does not exist in the major markets.
Okay.
But don't get me wrong. There are deals from very reputable sponsors where they can show you, look, here's the comp set. Here's the rent comparables. Here's this property. Look at the rent roll. In fact, don't even take my word for it. I'm going to send you the rent roll. You do your analysis, and then here's the comp set. You go look it up yourself, right? Yeah. And those things do exist. I'm not saying they don't. But typically the problem is the first question you should be asking is, well, if $150 of rent upside exists in a market like in Dallas or Phoenix or Jacksonville or in Atlanta, presumably hard markets with good tenants, with good property managers, well, what is this guy who currently owns it? Is he chopped liver? Why can't he do it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I think it's and to add to that, what you were saying is, really when you take the comps and everything to cross-reference those with the Yardi reports, CoStar reports.
And you should ask the sponsor for that, by the way, because they should have at least one of these.
Yeah. And I mean, like a lot of times they are, hopefully, like that's like their benchmark and where they're pulling this information from, because these larger companies have a lot more resources, and their metrics and their numbers are a lot more on point than as opposed to if the sponsors going and trying to pull these numbers and create their own little manipulated comps, and they're like, oh, look, blah, 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 blah. So, get those reports and really verify those. And like you said, the one that really jumped out to me is the Excel spreadsheet. Ask them to share that there for you. If they don't want to grant you access, a simple screenshot would do. But if they say for proprietary reasons, blah, 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 they're probably blowing up smoke, and your option, ticket item 5, you're being fucked. So those are very great things. I appreciate you sharing those, Omar. It's been very valuable. And you guys, if you're hearing this and you want to get further information, please head on over to rejpodcast.com, subscribe to the mailing list, and we will give you the most up-to-date information that we have as far as our deal flow is concerned. And we also have a wealth of information on our YouTube channel at boardwalkwealth.com. You can check that out as well. Omar, catch you on the next go around, my friend.
Thank you. Have a good one.